Okay, Sean Callahan here. We're back on the Satellite Camp Tour. We're in Macon, Georgia at Mercer. This is kind of your neck of the woods. We're with Sean Beckton. It's always good for you to get down in this part of the country.
Of course, you get to see a lot of good prospects, but also you get to see a lot of good high school coaches that I've been friends with for over 30 years now. And then some of the college coaches here in the South that, I know that recruit the same area as I do.
Well, it's fitting we're in Georgia because this year was one of Nebraska's best recruiting years they ever had in Georgia. What do you think? And the year before was Florida for you guys. Why was Georgia kind of more of a point of emphasis the way your recruiting class fell a year ago?
I think the momentum we had at UCF, all the things that we did there, the style of offense, style of defense, and special teams, and the brand of Coach Frost really helped us attract kids to Nebraska, followed us up there, and it's going to continue. That's one of the reasons why we're here, making our presence known, that we're still going to recruit the South and get quality players up to Lincoln.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they talk about recruiting, it's always Florida, California, Texas. But, Georgia's kind of quietly put himself in that conversation as maybe the fourth best state. How do you see Georgia when you kind of evaluate other states?
Well, the coaching, the biggest difference is coaching. These kids come in and work. A lot of these coaches treat their job as passionate as I've seen in the country. Those guys have those kids coming in. They got nutrition systems set up for them, and they got a lot of things that they've kind of budgeted to try to help develop young men, and makes our job easy when we get those kids into the university.
During the eval period of the 5-6 weeks your guys are out, how many weeks do you say you spend in Florida, Georgia when you're kind of in this part of the country?
Well, it's been a little bit different for me in Nebraska. UCF was, we didn't have to go very far. Now I'm responsible for tight ends in my area, so I'm kind of national there. But for me, within the 6-week period, I tried to make sure I was here for 3 weeks this year, recruiting this area, and really looking at kids for 2020 class, but also building some type of database on the 2021s and 2022. So spring football has really escalated into a situation where you got to kind of get on kids a little earlier than you have been, so you got to kind of be aware of some of the younger kids also.
Yeah, and you talked about your tight end room. It seems like that's on pretty solid ground right now. You've got everybody back for at least 2 more years in a row, if not longer, in that room. What did you like about the growth of that room here going into your second season?
Very happy where they are as far as the weight room. The biggest thing that I've saw in the spring, those guys are a lot stronger in every facet as far as their upper body, and then also their explosiveness coming through their legs, and then their overall knowledge of the scheme of things that we're trying to provide with those guys. From top to bottom, I think we're going to be a really strong group. I want to keep the competition up daily so those guys can continue to compete on a daily basis. I'm not going to annoy a guy, so I want those guys to continue to work throughout this summer. And Jack Stoll is kind of the leader in that group, and he's kind of taking control of a lot of the individual meetings and individual drills right now in the off season. So I want his time to kind of step up and be a leader for us.
Have you seen Jack's hair lately?
That mullet, I'm gonna cut it off when I get back. But we got a golf outing with the tight ends here in a couple weeks. I'm looking forward to getting around those guys, getting off the camp trail here in another couple weeks, and getting around those guys and spending some good quality time before I can shut it down with my family before the season starts.
Yeah, and for you coaches, it is nice. How nice is, I'm sure a lot of the wives and kids love that 1 month dead period where you can't host recruits on campus and you obviously can't be on the road at camps or recruiting trips. That's probably one of the best rules they put in college football the last few years.
Yeah, that helps us a lot. I'm really glad that they made that sacrifice to get us a situation where we know our wives and our kids know that this is a time that we can spend with them. And obviously Coach Frost is going to make sure that we get away and recharge our batteries and spend the most time we can with our families, and when August comes around, we're ready to go back to work.
And I promise you, this was the worst winter in 100 years in Nebraska. It's not like this every year. Hopefully this was the worst you'll ever see.
I hope it is. I'm claiming this year is going to be a very nice winter for us. My wife, this was her really first year up there during the winter, and she struggled mightily, but I'm claiming that it's going to be a better winter for us and a really great season for us this year.
Well, Coach, thanks a lot for taking some time out here. Best of luck. We'll see you back in Lincoln.
No problem. Appreciate what you guys do.